For 2 decades, Strictly Come Dancing has been the diamante in the BBC's crown.
Let the battle of the ballroom begin.
It's valued and cherished and loved by so many people. I think people would pay their licence fee for Strictly alone.
But the Strictly ship was unsteadied in 2024, when allegations of backstage bad behaviour surfaced.
It's not a joke, it's a really, really pressurised environment.
Past contestants spoke out.
Women should be allowed to stand up and go, this behaviour is affecting me, it's not fair.
And BBC bosses looked into the making of the show.
There are limits, and the line should never be crossed.
Prior to spring 2024, the most controversial thing to happen to Strictly was the Strictly curse.
So, can new behind-the-scenes measures save Strictly's Saturday Night Star status? Or will 2024's headlines take the shine off Strictly?
In the glitter of the glitter ball, you see one thing, but off stage, of course, it's a different story.
We give you tonight's competitors.
Strictly Come Dancing has been a Saturday night stalwart for 2 decades.
BBC breakfast anchorwoman Natasha Kaplinsky.
But that's nothing.
Hello and welcome again to Come Dancing, TV's answer to the Mouse Trap. Because it's so long running.
The inspiration for the programme, Come Dancing, started in 1950 and remained on the small screen, on and off, until 1998.
Rather spectacular little dress that Carolyn is wearing tonight. She and her mum ran up themselves together.
It was a commissioner's idea to bring back Come Dancing with celebrities. If we get this right, we can create this show that's like bringing a live Vegas show to Saturday night every week.
ITV had Saturday Night Down. They had those, those talent shows, Pop Idol, Pop Stars, The Rivals, the ones we all voted in. The BBC had a space there. They had a space for Saturday night TV, for entertainment, for family watching.
In the May of 2004, Strictly Come Dancing was launched onto Saturday nights.
8 celebrities paired with 8 professional dancers.
There were a lot of complaints from people who said, this isn't Come Dancing, like, it's not supposed to be.
Let the battle of the ballroom begin.
By the second week, it was getting real momentum and it really started to fly. You also felt a change with journalists as well, because they're very keen and quick to criticise the BBC, and it was like, oh, BBC bringing back ballroom dancing, this will be a disaster. And then a couple of weeks in, it suddenly started to change. And they got behind things. And then it just flew.
Natasha and Brendan.
BBC Breakfast Natasha Kaplinsky won that first series.
Natasha, with her partner Brendan, tamed the tango, ruled the rumba and perfected the paso doble.
But at the time, the show's future was still unclear.
Arlene, there is going to be another series, is that we hope?
Well, I hope
Brendan's
so.
not allowed to dance with anybody else.
So.
Yeah, he's not allowed.
So we had the final on the Saturday, and the Monday morning the BBC had a meeting and was like, can we get it back on air in October, which was 4 months later.
Live from the Blackpool Tower Ballroom. This is Strictly Come Dancing.
Strictly Come Dancing had found its home in BBC One's autumn schedule.
I think the autumn slot was integral. I think that kind of countdown to Christmas, the Halloween episode. Can you imagine Strictly without the Halloween episode? Without the costumes, without the music?
Amazing.
It's those kind of autumn moments that make it whole.
And by Series 5, it had a Brucey bonus results episode on a Sunday night.
Yes, and we're here on a Sunday, so we'll start with hymn 56.
I used to text Bruce. I just remember vividly typing in 12, 13 million. It was always massive and always bigger than whatever was on ITV, despite what Simon Cowell says.
You get the votes right here.
It is a format which has proved popular all over the world. 61 territories currently have their own version of Strictly.
I'll be there to give the trophy et je chante mon nouveau chanson, ooh la la. Bon.
It is exactly the same in every single territory. That's testament to a format that is so strong that you don't change anything. You do it exactly the same and you should get the same results.
In its 20-year history, Strictly's format may have remained the same. But the competition has changed.
It's evolved in a way where the competition seems front and centre. It's always been a competition, of course, there's a trophy, that glitter ball trophy that everyone wants, but it seems more of a harsh competition now.
Although some pros would argue this was always the case.
If you can imagine time before Strictly, which is very difficult to do, but we were there saying this is what we do, ballroom dancing, and this is how it's done. So we were, even in the early days, it was competitive.
But another former pro says the relentless nature of the show can take its toll.
There's a lot of dancing to be done because you have to learn several different dances and you're already exhausted and your celebrity partner exhausted and you just feel the heat, you feel that. It's very overwhelming. But you just have to strip it all back and kind of say, look, I can only do what I can do. You know, we're not magicians, we're dance teachers.
After leaving the show in 2017, Kristina Rihanov set up her own dance studio, but she keeps in touch with her former colleagues.
Things are very different on the show. I do think there is so much more pressure to deliver, to outdance each other, to outdo each other. I think now it's on a whole different level because they're signing even celebrities who are so incredible in their dance experience. It's like, wow.
As well as the physical demands, just the nature of the show can be tough on those taking part.
It's an elimination show. At the heart of Strictly is the jeopardy that somebody is going to go home. And that experience can be quite brutal because it's very involving. You get totally taken up by it. You form very deep relationships, intense relationships, and sometimes quite surprising relationships with the people you work with. And then all of a sudden, you're in the back of a cab with a bunch of flowers and that's you done.
The emotional impact of going live every week and being judged. Actually, you imagine standing there, you've done your very best, you've worked really hard all week, and someone is judging what you've just done. It's a very vulnerable and emotional experience.
Disaster. Disaster. Your cha-cha-cha was a disaster.
With that kind of pressure, a Strictly slip-up was perhaps inevitable. The 21st series of Strictly Come Dancing kicked off as usual, with a press line of excited celebrities.
It means so much to me to be here.
TV presenter Zara McDermott was just one of the 15 celebrities taking part.
I honestly don't feel like I'm a celebrity because I'm a really big fan of you. So I was, honestly, and all the pros, also she's like, oh my God, I really wanted to meet all of you.
Sherlock actress Amanda Abbington was also part of the original 2023 lineup.
Ready to go. So excited.
But after a successful 5 weeks in the competition, she decided to leave.
We've received the news that Amanda is not returning to Strictly. Amanda Abbington is unable to continue in Strictly Come Dancing.
It was announced on It Takes Two that Amanda had left the show. Amanda posted on social media that she had left for personal reasons and would not be returning, and then Giovanni responded on social media, and that's how the public found out that they would no longer be competing.
I bring her coffee in the morning. She brings me in a piece.
Behind the public posts, another story was unfolding on the 2023 Celebrities WhatsApp group.
I set up a group chat and it was full of, this is difficult and a nightmare and all the rest of it. And we would share our trials and tribulations, and Amanda did as well. There were messages that she posted that made it very clear she was struggling and having a very hard time. We were all having a hard time, and it was, because it's tough, but it was different in terms of what she was saying.
Strictly skipped on, with nearly 10 million tuning in to see Coronation Street's Ellie Leach lift the famous glitter ball. And while some contestants had the time of their lives,
it was genuinely revelatory and extraordinary and wonderful, and I loved every minute of it.
For others, memories of Strictly would come back to haunt them. Strictly high-kicked it into the summer of 2024 with another BAFTA win for the show.
20 years on television is a very long time.
Just weeks after the prize was put in the BBC's trophy cabinet, a messier Strictly story began to unfold.
The Strictly Come Dancing professional Graziano Di Prima is leaving the show.
Allegations about Graziano Di Prima's treatment of his partner Zara McDermott appeared in the press.
The professional dancer admitted that what he called his intense passion and determination to win may have affected his training regime.
Rehearsal room footage was handed over to BBC bosses investigating claims of inappropriate backstage behaviour.
The TV presenter Zara McDermott has said watching videos of her time training with Graziano Di Prima for Strictly Come Dancing has been incredibly distressing.
Well, Zara McDermott came out and shared her story. She spoke on social media and she said that she had a great time on Strictly, but that her experience with her partner Graziano wasn't always pleasant. There's a video that allegedly shows Graziano kicking Zara. We have not seen this video, it's not been made public, but Graziano is now no longer part of Strictly Come Dancing.
The BBC responded at the time by saying it is well known that the BBC has established robust duty of care procedures, and if issues are raised, we will always take them seriously and act swiftly as appropriate. In an exclusive interview with the Daily Mail, Graziano said there was an unintentional kick and he was not an abusive man. By the time that article came out, it was clear Graziano would not be the only familiar face absent from 2024's dance floor. Giovanni Pernici's win with Rose Ayling-Ellis in 2021 sealed his Strictly status with audiences. The BBC commissioned spin-off shows, partnering him up with fellow professional dancer turned judge Anton de Beck. Away from the telly, the duo could pull in a crowd with their stage show.
Anton and Giovanni put on a great show.
We've met Giovanni a few times kind of personally as well, and he's always really helpful.
Entertainment at its very best. Fabulous.
Strictly returns to our screens this autumn. It'll be the 20th series.
However, despite Giovanni's popularity, his name was omitted from the 2024 lineup.
Giovanni Pernici will not take part this year.
Today, another former contestant has come forward.
After months of speculation, Giovanni's former dance partner, Amanda Abbington, had gone public with her allegations about his behaviour.
Amanda, welcome to Woman's Hour.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So what happened?
It felt wrong. It just, you know, when you're in a room and you just feel, I don't want to be spoken to like this. I don't deserve to be spoken to like this. I'm trying my best. I'm working hard and to be, you know, for these things to be happening to me. I recognise red flags and I recognise bad behaviour because it's happened to me in the past, and they were coming up more and more frequently.
From what we do know publicly, it's allegations of inappropriate behaviour, and that ultimately the training space, as far as she's concerned, was not a safe space for her.
So I think there should be, you know, women should be allowed to stand up and go, this behaviour is affecting me, it's not fair, please do something about it so everybody's happy. And it got to the stage where that was not happening, so I left.
Giovanni had already denied allegations of inappropriate behaviour in 2 separate Instagram posts. In the first, he said he rejected any suggestions of abusive or threatening behaviour, and he looked forward to clearing his name. And in the second, posted when it was revealed he would not be returning to the show, he said the allegations are simply false. And he said he was cooperating fully with the BBC investigation, which, he said, would determine the truth. The BBC said it did not comment on specific cases, but in a statement, a BBC spokesperson said, if a complaint is made to the BBC, we assess and take any necessary steps to establish the facts, whether there is a case to answer, and, if appropriate, what action should be taken.
I want somebody to go onto Strictly and have the best experience, because that's what I wanted, and it didn't happen. So I just wanted somebody else to go on that show and not have the experience I and several other people before me had had.
The Paralympian Will Bailey is among those to share his story.
Amanda speaking up and her allegations becoming public very much opened the floodgates for former stars who had previously kept quiet, at least in the public sphere, to share their stories and say what they had gone through on the show.
Table tennis champ Will Bailey told BBC Breakfast he had complained to producers in 2019 after he was forced to quit Strictly because of an injury he had sustained during rehearsals.
It's only because this stuff's coming out now that my voice is actually getting listened to, and I think if it does help one person from getting a severe injury like mine, that is definitely amazing, because I went through a really tough time mentally for about a year afterwards. I couldn't hardly walk because of my disability. It was so hard to come back from that injury.
In response to Will's comments, a BBC spokesman said, there were long-standing protocols for dealing with injuries, and that includes contestants receiving all necessary treatment and support as required. Like Will, former contestant Laura Whitmore's complaint about her experience of inappropriate behaviour on the show resurfaced. In an Irish Times interview, the TV presenter said she had felt gaslit by the BBC. She said, I initially raised concerns back in 2016. I thought my experience was specific to me, but I've since learned I was wrong. At the time, the BBC said it would not be commenting on Whitmore's claims.
Strictly is the best of what the BBC does, and people value it and they look forward to it and they schedule their weekend around it and they care. So it's terrible to think of the upset on all of the levels of the dancers that have been affected, of the celebrities that have been affected, of the production team, but also of the viewers.
Strictly is a wonderful show that brings a lot of joy to a lot of people. If someone feels there was something wrong or they want to talk about their experience, then of course we want them to raise that with us.
As an investigation into Strictly rumbled on, the BBC responded to complaints by making changes behind the scenes.
The main one is that there will be chaperones in the training rooms, and that the celebrity will be with the dance partner and there will be a third party there, a chaperone present at all times. There will be a witness to what is going on and how the training is taking place.
In addition to the chaperones and specific training for crew and production staff, 2 welfare producers will be introduced, one for the celebrities and another for the professional dancers.
This feels like a little bit of a lid has been lifted. Are you worried that might affect how people think about the programme? Because we've heard stories that we just kind of didn't know before.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think training, everyone is different, and everyone's been brought up differently as a dancer to train people. You know, so I guess what they learn, they carry on into the training room. But I think it's a good thing that the BBC are going to have people in there, you know, as well, because they're mediators as well. We have that in the theatre all the time, chaperones all the time.
Hi everyone, it's me, Giovanni.
In the week before Strictly's 2024 launch, Giovanni Pernici took to social media to announce a return to the dance floor on Italy's version of Strictly.
I will be joining the cast of Ballando con le Stelle, which is the equivalent of Dancing with the Star, Italian version.
Meanwhile, in the UK, dancers Amy Dowden and Aliash Skorianik got back on board the pros bus.
Rehearsals are underway now. I mean, what's it like with the new measures, like the chaperones, for example, in the rehearsals?
Do you know what? I think it's a great thing. I think, like, you know, we need to go ahead with the most happiest, the most successful escapism for 2 hours every single Saturday when the show is on for millions of people.
The BBC has apologised to the actor Amanda Abbington and upheld several complaints made by her against her professional dance partner on Strictly Come Dancing last year. But Giovanni Pernici has been cleared of the most serious allegations of physical aggression.
The BBC published its report into Amanda Abbington's complaints 2 weeks into the 2024 competition.
We've been very open today about the nature of the complaints process and the fact that we've had a very robust review and we've got very robust findings, and that's why we've issued the statement we have today. But it's also really important that people understand I can't go into the specifics. I'm not able to give more detail about it because the very nature of a complaints process is the promise of confidentiality, and I think that's incredibly important that everybody on the show understands that.
Both Giovanni Pernici and Amanda were quick to respond to the findings. In a statement, Amanda said, "It's not just a vindication for me, it's a vindication for the other people who have contacted me since I made my complaint to express concerns about their own experiences on Strictly Come Dancing." And Giovanni commented, "The majority of the false allegations have been thrown out by the review. It has been an extremely difficult year, reading story after story and not being able to say anything in return, as I respected the integrity of the review."
I don't think these allegations will be forgotten. I don't think they should be forgotten. It's part of Strictly's history now, and it's up to Strictly and the BBC to take all of this into account, to learn from it, to make sure it doesn't happen again, and to move forward with a fresh perspective.
So, despite a summer of headlines, scandal and speculation, the BBC's biggest show was always bound to go on.
Hopefully people can recover and move forward and learn from it, and remember that Strictly is fabulous and people love it. People love taking part in it, they love watching it, and it would be a shame if it was picked apart to death and was allowed to die. Because if journalists, if you keep picking and you keep criticising, you know, you could end up killing the show that you spend weeks and months of the year talking about. So be careful.